Our organization was created out of a feeling that public education is our most precious public institution and may also be our least changed public institution. So we opened public, not-for-profit charter schools here in California. And we began just thinking that we were just going to do one school, but we had so many people trying to get in through our blind lottery that we landed up opening another, and then another, and then another. So over the last 11 years, we've grown to 4,700 students, K through 12, mostly in Southern California. All of this has wildly exceeded our initial expectations. We had no idea when we began in 2000 that we would have close to 5,000 students in 11 buildings, which we own, some of which are Gold LEED certified and create more energy for the surrounding community than they use themselves, and have gotten so many underprivileged students into our schools, into college, and through college, half of whom have parents who never attended college at all. And that we have met the design of our founders who were trying to create more engineers in the various sectors that they were needed in San Diego. Our current objective is twofold. The first is to educate the students that we have to the best of our ability. The second is to change the world, in particular the world of education. Regarding the first objective, we have students who are selected randomly in a blind lottery. They come from all over the metropolitan area. We have them in small groups working collaboratively. We don't try to mispredict which of them can do or can't do. We have the teachers in the same scenario. We have teachers working in small teams collaboratively with students. And we have the objective that everyone will get to college and get through college. And we have good data to prove our results in that regard. As far as our second objective of changing the world, that entails working with adults. We work with adults from all over the world and all over the United States. Recently, we've had visitors in the last week from 3 different countries. We built the organization in such a way that we want adult learning and student learning to be integrated to the benefit of everybody in the organization. The leverage points that make our organizational success, the things that we really focus on in terms of the students are A, of the entering 9th graders in your entity, large or small, what % graduated from a 4-year college? B, of your entering students in poverty that entered your 9th grade, what % graduated from a 4-year college? C, what % of A was B? That, we think, would tell you a lot about any organization, certainly tells you a lot about the success of our organization. Another leverage point is, because we're charter schools, and the purpose of charter schools was to change public education, is that we credentialed quite a few teachers for the school district last year in our Graduate School of Education. So that's an important leverage point for us to basically affect students and affect adults within our community. Having first spent 20 years working in traditional schools back on the East Coast, now 11 doing high-tech high here on the West Coast, I think that the thing that makes us most effective is understanding that it's not just what we put in creating a school, but what we don't allow to come in. So we don't have a lot of the things that you traditionally see in schools. We don't have bells. We don't have a public address system which interrupts classes. We don't segregate student bathrooms from adults' bathrooms. We base everything upon respect, and the student behavior really is sort of demonstrative of our doing so. We have very little issues with student behavior. The other ways in which we're really effective is in the way in which we relate to community. All of our students do internships in the public and private sector. So one of the ways that we try to show this effectiveness to others is by making our work public. Our kids have published 54 books. We post everything that we do on our website, and by making it public, people get to see exactly what it is transparently that we're doing. We measure the success of our organization primarily by the results of our students. Last year, all of our students went to college. The year before they did, and the year before they did, and the year before they did. Over 80% of them who've begun four-year colleges have graduated. We have twice the national average of students majoring in science, technology, engineering, and math, which is something that we had set out to do. Our other success metrics have to do with our credentialing of teachers throughout the country through our Graduate School of Education and instructing them in the type of pedagogy which is a constructivist, producing rather than consuming pedagogy of having an environment in which students make films, publish books, build hovercraft, build submersibles, much like you would see in a College of Engineering or a College of Design. Those are the metrics that we set out to do, and that's pretty much what we've been accomplishing thus far. There are three misconceptions about our organization that need to be clarified. The first is we do not accept our students based on ability. In no way, shape, manner, or form do we do that. Sometimes people think that because the outcomes that we get are so strong that we must have selected them at the front end. The second one is a misconception that we are a private school or a for-profit school. We're not. We're public schools. Charters are public, independent schools. We make it on the per pupil expenditure that we get from the state of California, which has declined precipitously since we opened 11 years ago. And the third one, therefore, of course, which is related to the second one, is that we don't need additional resources. We do. In particular, we need them for our facilities costs. Most schools that are district schools have bonding authority so they can buy their buildings, and in fact have already bought their buildings. But for those of us who are starting new schools, the challenge is getting those buildings constructed. So far, we've been lucky. We own our first 11 buildings. We have a couple of other schools we'd like to do, and that's a place where we do indeed need additional resources. We have several major accomplishments. One, of course, is that we are solvent and thriving in this very tight environment in the country, and particularly in California right now. Another is that we own all of our buildings. Another is that we're able to fill all of our schools quite readily. Another one is that we hire 40 or 50 teachers every year out of about 15 or 1,600 applicants. Another one is that we have a license from the state of California right now to open 48 K-12 schools anywhere in the state that we might want to do so. You know, every time somebody says it's not about the money but the principle of the thing, it's about the money. And I think the biggest challenge that we have right now is keeping it going and growing because of the 6,500 kids that didn't get in our lottery last year. So that's our biggest challenge. I mean, especially when siblings can't get in because there's no room. Other than that, we have the usual sort of slings and arrows of running a not-for-profit in this environment, but we're getting through it and we're doing fairly well. If we had additional resources, we would focus on a few things. The first is our Graduate School of Education, which has become very popular for school districts and states around the country and from some other countries, and we need some more faculty. Another is that we need a building for our Graduate School of Education that is adjacent to our core schools in Metro San Diego. And that's something that we're trying to raise some resources with some naming rights for. Those are pretty much the things. People and buildings are the things that we need the most. The biggest gaps that we're trying to fill right now are the following. We have in Metro San Diego 6 schools that range from early elementary to high school. So we have a village that we're still building in Chula Vista. We have a building that we have opened for a high school up in North County, and we're trying to complete that village as well. Those are the gaps we're focusing on over the next 5, 6, 7 years, is creating the villages that are comparable to our metro village in the middle of San Diego, down south and up north.